Hello, people of YouTube. This is Gray's Guitars. I am Steve Gray, and you may or may not be able to hear it in my voice. I got a touch of a cold, hopefully not a sinus infection. I'm going to knock on wood here. So this may be a little bit of a shorter video, but I just wanted to bring to your attention something that I think is ridiculous in a good way. You know, we talk about Gibson or Epiphone, it's ridiculous in a bad way. This is ridiculous in a good way. So this is a new Firefly FFT GD45 acoustic guitar. It's probably meant to kind of semi-replicate a Martin D45, I believe. Let's go ahead and take a look at the pictures. Got some binding, abalone everywhere. Looks very attractive. Very pretty guitar. Lots of abalone. Looks like you got the ball end frets there as well, which are always nice. Very nice looking headstock. Looks like we have a veneer, wooden veneer on the headstock as well. Multiple piece neck with a scarf joint. Very pretty back. Tuners look pretty solid. I don't think they're locking. They don't look locking. And we'll just go through the pictures here. Definitely a heel joint here, but that's not uncommon on cheaper acoustics. No biggie there. And I think we're back to the main picture. So, the specs of this guitar for the price are something, if you were to go the USA route, you would not find it for less than $1,000. I mean, and even going the China route and the import route, if you're living in the US, or wherever, trying to find these specs on a guitar for under $1,000 is very, very difficult. Yet here they are, and I'm sure the margins are extremely slim. I've been told that it can take 3 months to make one of these acoustic guitars, if not more, so decent amount of labor. But the specs on these things speak for themselves. So solid top spruce. You'll want a solid top on an acoustic. A lot of people debate whether the back and sides matter at all or if it's just the top, but everyone can agree you'll want a solid wood top. Now, solid Indian rosewood back and sides. So already, these are the same specs as my Yamaha AC3R, and that guitar is $1,100 new. We have a bone nut. You have Diodario strings, which are good. I don't know if they're real Diodario strings. Abalone binding. You got the ball end frets. Now, this doesn't specify if they are stainless steel frets or not. I would assume they are, but you know what they say when you assume things. So I'm going to assume that they're just ball end frets. They're probably nickel. They're not stainless steel. And then you have handmade X bracing. So you have X bracing on the top, abalone binding, ball end frets, bone nut, solid top, solid back and sides. That's all the same specs of a $1,000 Yamaha, and this thing is prettier. I mean, yes, the Yamaha is pretty, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't have all the crazy abalone binding and all of that. And based on these specs, there is no reason this thing would not sound amazing. Now, the one thing I am going to complain about here is they are not telling me what the neck is made out of. So, to me, that looks like some sort of, just based on the grain, I'm not a wood expert. I would say if it's not mahogany, most likely in the mahogany family, and those very dark stripes are most likely walnut. And that is crazy to me. Multiple piece neck, all solid construction body, bone nut. Doesn't specify if the saddle is bone. I do not believe this is an electric. So that is something to factor in. You would have to put a pickup in this. There was a, unfortunately it's no longer on the site, it sold out. The most expensive one they had was like $550. And that one had very specific, I think, wood for the back. Very sought after wood. And also electronics. So let's see if this one is any different. Is there a different name to these? So let's see, we have the FFT GD45. This is the same thing but -F. So what does the F mean? So solids top, rosewood back and sides, bone nut, abalone binding fall, X bracing. This one's also slightly more expensive. So why is this one $20? Does it I'm wondering if this has electronics in it, perhaps? Oh no, it has a lot fancier fretboard. So that's what the F is for. Probably flower pot or something, because it's got the crazy excuse me. The crazy binding on the board, which I'm assuming they do use ebony, they do use rosewood for the fretboard, so it's kind of probably going to be one of those. As I said, that is my biggest complaint, and is they're not really giving you the specs of the neck on these things. I don't particularly like that. And then this is like a parlor guitar. This looks like a nylon. I believe this is a nylon string. Yes, it is nylon string. Very similar construction. Solid top, rose solid back and sides, abalone binding, ball on frets, handmade X bracing. So everything you want in an acoustic guitar, minus maybe electronics, because as I said, I'm pretty confident those sold out right there. $369 or $389. They charge you somewhere around $25 for shipping. What's shipping a guitar? I've done it on a Reverb. You're lucky if you get it under $100. That's kind of where it is if you're personally doing it yourself. You know, when somebody's shipping, a bigger company is shipping. I don't know how big Firefly is, but a bigger company is shipping things all over the place. Then typically they cut them a bit of a package price or a deal or something. So that's something to factor in. But it was assuming that the frets don't need to be leveled, because I have had one Firefly where it could have used a little bit of work on the frets. Still, even if you got to spend like $150, $200 getting it, level and crowned, you're in it well under the price of any guitar for these specs. Like, let's just go, Yamaha is also made in China. Yamaha acoustic guitars. Shop now, I guess. We're going to see if I can find like something with similar specs. Alright, this is already annoying me. I already hate their website. Let's just go to this series. You know what? We're just going to go to Sweetwater. Guitar Center. Thank you. That works too. So, let's see if we can find an acoustic around that same price point. $419 maybe. I might click on that one. $339. This okay. You know what? This one's $400. Now we're getting kind of expensive. Let's look at the $400 one. See what we got here, spec-wise. So we have a flame maple top, back and sides are Nyato, scalloped X bracing. Not really the woods I would associate with an acoustic guitar. Let's find one, $300. We'll check this one. Specs. We have spruce, back and sides Nyato again. You're not getting rosewood. You're not getting rosewood back and sides. And let's just see if we can find... Let's do a $200 one. This is probably where we're getting into laminate, I would guess. Specs. Yeah, laminate spruce, top wood, which is very bad. And backwood is Meranti. Never heard of that in my life. And let's see. Let's go to one of the expensive ones that was down here. Here we go. Let's do $879. See what we got. Solid spruce, mahogany back and sides, not bad, but yet again, not getting rosewood yet. Let's do the one that's $1,900. Let's see if we get it on this one. Nope. Not getting on the $1,900 one either. I'm trying to find one that actually has rosewood back and sides. This one is the A series. Let's go ahead and check. Let's see. Here we go. Solid Sika spruce top, rosewood back and sides. So, Yamaha, you gotta get at least about $800 if you want something comparable. You go in USA, forget about it. Now, the main difference is with acoustics is with the really expensive USA ones, they do have a nitro finish, which a lot of people say make the wood breathe better. But for my purposes, for the majority of your purposes, Do you really need to spend $5,000 on a Martin, a Taylor, or a Gibson acoustic when something like this has essentially the same exact specifications for, less than a quarter of the cost? That is ultimately going to be up to the consumer, but I think these are really cool. If I didn't have my Yamaha right now, honestly, I probably would pull the trigger on one of these. But my Yamaha essentially has the same specs, so we're going to keep that. I don't personally need one of these. I have a junky parlor guitar, but it's not a nylon string, so maybe, but I've never felt the need to buy a nylon guitar. But that's where we're going to leave it. So thanks for bearing with me with my hacking and coughing. I'm going to go blow my nose after this. Subscribe, notification bell, like, share, and as always, have a good one.